Hi, I'm Tom, and in this tutorial for FreeCAD BIM, I will show you how to create this floor plan from a BIM model of this simple garage. In this floor plan, placed on a sheet, you can see that there are dimensions, there are annotations, there are hatches, there are different line weights, etc. It's a proper floor plan. I'm using FreeCAD 1.0 in this tutorial. So I will start this tutorial with just a 3D model of the garage. It's the file garage 3D end, and if you want to follow along, you can download this file from my FCB Lounge shop for free. This file contains just the 3D model of the garage and also this section object. So I will turn the section object to be visible. So here it is. If you want to know how to create section objects, I recommend you to watch my tutorial about creating section objects. So we have this already created, and this section object will be the basis of creating the 2D plan view of the garage. So I don't have to have it active. I can make it inactive like this. And to create a plan view from the section, I will select it and I will use this tool BIM Shape 2D View. When I fire it up, it automatically creates a Shape 2D View object, which is placed here, and it's overlapping the 3D model. I could leave it here and work with it here, but just for a better reference, I will move it. I can work with this object as with any other object. So I will move it, let's say up here. It doesn't matter how far or where. And here you can see that this object is basically creating 2D object out of this section, with also projection of the floor of the toilet. So not only is it cutting the object, but it's creating the projection of the object. Now let's take a look at the top view of the 2D cut, and you can see that all of the lines have the same weight. And if I select the object, there are several options how the section can be displayed, and these are the projection modes in the data properties. So the default one is solid. It's this one that you can see. What will be interesting for us is the cut lines. You can see here, if I have the solid selected, I can see the sills, I can see the floor, I can see the toilet. But if I select just cut lines, it will change, and I can, in the 2D object, is displayed only those objects and lines which are cut. So you can see that you don't see the sill, you don't see the toilet, etc. Now, if I also change it from cut lines to cut faces, you can see that it's the same as cut lines, but it's creating faces out of the objects which are cut, which is neat. But of course, in our 2D plan view, we will not want to see only cut lines, but also the projection lines. So I will select the solid projection mode. But now we have a problem that usually in architectural plan view, you have lines which are cut are thicker than the lines which are the projection lines, the lines which are not cut. In this object, I can, in the view properties, I can change the line width of the object, but you can see that all the lines of the Shape 2D view have the same line width. So I will set it back to default 2. And to create the thicker lines which are cut, I will create a second Shape 2D view which will have different line weights. weights. So I will again select the section from which I created this shape 2D view, and I will create a new shape 2D view, and I will move it. So I will move it here, and this one I will actually set to be not solid projection mode, but I will use the cut faces projection mode. If I click in the space, it changes, and now I can move this object, and I will snap to this point and place it here to this point. And now if I look at the top view, those two are overlaid. And now what I can do for this second one, I can change the line width in the view properties to 4, which is double the projection lines. And you can see that now these lines are thick and these lines, the projections, are thinner. So this is exactly what we want. So I will actually rename these. So this one will be shape 2D view projection, and this one will be shape 2D view cut. And I will create a container for them. So I will right click on the garage, the top of the tree, and create a group, and I will name it drawing plan level 01, and I will place these two objects into this group so I can work with them better. So let's move ahead and create a page and place this drawing onto the page. So in the BIM workbench, I can create page with this tool, BIM Tech Draw Page, and it offers me my templates. So use an A3 template. If you don't have a proper template, you can use one of the support files that I'm providing in the default download. So it's the garage tutorial files, plan files, and there's the A3 landscape FCB Lounge template. So I will choose this one, and now I will hide it and again show it again. This is a little bug of FreeCAD 1.0, and this is the page. So I will rename the sheet and I will name it plan view level 01, and I will not fill in all of this data. I will leave it up to you. But now to place the drawing onto the page, I will select the drawing container and use this tool, which is BIM Tech Draw View. This one creates Tech Draw View from the selected objects, and you can see that the drawing plan level 002 is created. So when I look at the page, you can see that the plan view is placed on the page, but it's using some default scale. So I will select the object, and to change the scale, it's in the base properties, and the scale is set to 1:100. So I will click here and click this enter expression, and I can type in the scale here. So I will type in 1 divided by 50, hit OK, and nothing changes because I have to redraw the drawing. And the tools for redrawing the drawing is in the technical drawing workbench. So I have to switch workbenches, and I will use this Tech Draw Redraw workbench tool. So now the scale is changed, and I will make it a little bit bigger on the page. So I will change the scale to 1:40, hit OK, and redraw again, and I will move the drawing here, and I will name it because it's not, I'm not sure what, okay, it named it 002 because this is my original name, so I will name it 01. Oh, that's not possible. Okay, so let's make it 001. So now I will also change the scale number here so that I know that it's 1 to 40. So this is the basis of our drawing, and this is the most important part of the tutorial. It's how to create a plan view from a section. And now I can work with this plan view as with a standard 2D drawing. I have created tutorials on my channel about creating 2D dimensions, hatches, etc. So if you want to know them more in details, I recommend you to watch those tutorials. So here I will show just the basics. Now, before creating other objects, let me show you how the line width is set up, because here we are setting the line width to 2, and this is a unitless numbers. This was 2, and the cut lines, if you remember, we set them to 4. But if we are working on a page, now we are working with millimeters, and you can see that the lines are in fact thicker and thinner. But what are the true widths of the line? If I go to the data of the drawing on a page, you can see in the data properties there's a line width, and this is in millimeters. So this is 0.35, but this is multiplied by the value of the object's line width. So for us, this would mean that these thin lines on the drawing would be, 0.35 times 2, so 0.7, which is quite thick. So I want to have the basic thickness, let's say 0.15, so the thin lines would be 0.3, or let's make them 0.2. So the thin lines would be 0.4 millimeters, and the thick lines would be 4 times this, so 0.8 millimeters. So this is setting of the line width of the drawing on the page. So let's now get back to the 3D view and let's create some dimensions. So to create dimensions, I will switch back to the BIM workbench, and I will use these 3 tools. So for this one, I will use the horizontal dimension. So I will fire up the tool. I have my snapping turned on, and I have also the snap working plane turned on. So I will click here, here, and here, and the dimension is created. But if I zoom in, you can see that it's really small. Now, I have a whole tutorial about creating dimensions. So here I will only load a dimension style that I created previously. So I will go to my annotation style editor, and here I will use this tool to import style from JSON file, and you can also import this file because it's part of the support files, and it's in the plan files folder, and I will use FreeCAD annotation style 1250. I will open it, and now it's here in my drawing. So it's this 1250. You can see the settings here. I will not change them, I just loaded it. And now I will select the dimension, and in the view property, annotation style, I can select the one that I created, which is 1250. So this is the annotation style. Doesn't matter much how it looks like here. It depends how it will look like on the page. But you can see that I don't see the dimension here on the page because I have to put it into the drawing container. So actually I will create a new group. I will create a group and name it dimensions, and I will place the dimension into the group, and I will place this group inside of the drawing container. So inside of the drawing container I've got these. So you can see the dimension has the correct size for 1 to 50, but the text is bigger than here. Why is that? This is because the size of the text is not taken from the dimension property, but it's the drawing property. So if I select the drawing object, so this one, and I go to sometimes you actually have to select it here in the project tree, and I go to properties of the drawing. Now here is in the draft view properties is the font size, and this is the font size for all of the text inside of this drawing. So we will change it to 3, and this will be 3 millimeters, so let's make it bigger, 4. We will have the text 4 millimeters large. Hopefully in the future there will be options to have the text size not be dependent on the drawing, but basically on what the original text size is. So this is how it looks like here, and now let's actually edit this dimension. So I will switch to draft workbench, and I will use the edit tool, draft edit, and I will click this point and drag it, let's say somewhere here, hit close. Now I will switch back to the BIM workbench, and I will create a vertical dimension, so from this point to this point, and place it, let's say here. And now I will create a continuous or chain vertical dimension by selecting the vertical and using the continue checkbox, checking it. And I will start here, and the second point will be here. I will place it here, and now I can do the continuous line. So I will click here, 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 and here, and hit close, and the continuous line is created. So I will create the same way continuous with the horizontal dimension. So first I will create the first one like so, and then I will click here, 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 and here, hit close. And now to create the dimension of the thickness of the wall, let's say I will use the vertical dimension, click on maybe this point, and place it here. And the continuous still turned on, but I want to make just this one. So I will not create all of the dimensions here. You can watch my other tutorials or create your own. But now these dimensions that I created at the bottom of the tree, I will select them all and actually go to the view properties and set the annotation style to the Arch 150, so the style is set up properly. And they are not in my drawing because I have to place them in the correct container, so the dimensions correct container. So I will select them all, and I could either drag and drop them onto the container, or there's a neat tool in the draft workbench. There's this tool to move to group, and if I click it, I have options of which group I want to place these objects. So I will select dimensions group. It's placed in the dimensions group, as you can see, and on the drawing you can see the dimensions are here on the drawing. So this is nice. Okay, so now let's create texts which describe the rooms. So in the 3D view, I will create 2D objects. So in my BIM workbench, I will create a text. So I will click here as the point where the text should be, and I will type in the text here on the left side. So 0.1 garage, and select create text. The text is created, and I'm creating a second one because I've got continue checked, so I will uncheck continue and hit close, and the text is created, but I cannot see it, and that's because it's really small. So we have to change the size of the text, and it's in the view properties, it's the font size. So I will type it in, so it's 150, and I will also change the justification to 30 to center, and let's make it a bit bigger. So I've got this text created, and now I can copy it. So I will use the BIM copy tool. I will select from this point, I want to place it here, and to change the text, you can double click the text either in the 3D space or in the project tree, and this one will be technical room and create text, and I will copy it again from here to here, and let's double click. Sometimes you have to be double clicking text in the 3D space sometimes is a bit problematic because you have to be placed correctly. So I will do it like this and create text. Now let's make another container for the text. So I will create a group and name it group room description, and I will place these texts into the group, and if I move the group inside of the drawing container, it will be placed in the 3D view, sorry, not in 3D view, on my sheet, but you can see that the text is too small. But if I want to make it larger, I change the font size to 12. These ones are larger, but also these ones are larger. So this is not really desirable. So I will change the text size back to 4. And what we will do is kind of a workaround. We will create another text draw drawing, which will contain only the text. So let's move the group outside of the drawing container, the room description group. So I do that by dragging it on top node like this. So now it's outside of the drawing container, and I want to create drawing out of this group. So again, I have got it selected, and I will create a BIM tech draw view with this tool, and you can see that the new drawing is created on the page, and it's a room description 001. That's fine, but now here I got the font size set to 12, but I don't see the text. This is because they are out here outside, and you could also have problems with, if you had a larger drawing, these could be completely outside. This is because the texts are taken into account kind of weirdly in the tech draw drawing. So we will have to do a little thing, which is we will create a custom small object, and then the text will be placed correctly. So I will create a custom line which will be very short, but I will place the beginning in this corner, and I will make it the second click. I will turn off snapping, and the second click it will be here. So this is a really small line. I could make it white, but for us this is not a problem. So this is a line, and I will place it in the group. And now you can see that already the text has changed places, and this is where the line is. So I can drag this drawing to, and this line will be placed at the corner where it really is. But why is the text not placed where it should be? This is because the scale of this drawing is not set the same as the scale of this drawing. So if I change the scale from 1 to 100 to 1 to 40, and I will hit OK, and now let's redraw the page. You can see that the text is in the correct space, and I can change the size of the text independently of other text. So this is a bit of a workaround, but this is how we have to do it in FreeCAD 1.0. Hopefully in the next releases this will be solved, so you can have multiple text sizes on one drawing. But you can still see the problem that the text is kind of meshed up when there are two lines in one text object, and this is again set up in the drawing properties and its line spacing value, and if I set it to 5 or 6, this should be okay. So the drawing is moving on nicely. You don't have to be worried about these labels, because if I turn off frames, this is how it will look like on the page. So these are only working frames. But now I want to create hatches, which is an important part of architectural drawing. So I will go back to the 3D view, and I will switch to the BIM workbench. So I could actually select the cut object, the whole cut, and create a hatch from it. So I have a tutorial completely focused on hatches, so you can watch that. I will not tell you all about hatches. So I have this Shape 2D cut selected. I fire up the hatch tool, and you probably don't have a pattern file selected, so I provided a basic pattern file again in documents. FreeCAD, well, it's the support files, so it's in the plan files, and then there's the ANSI pattern file. It's the standard patterns as you know them from AutoCAD. So I have this selected. I've got options from the ANSI patterns, so I will select ANSI 31, and it's better to first select larger scale, so I will select it to 100 and hit OK, and you can see that I've got hatches created, and it's this hatch object. So first, the scale is too big, so I will change it to, I think 25 was the correct one. But here you can see, if I zoom in, what the problem with these hatches are, that also these window frames are hatched, and also it's quite common that not all of the walls are hatched in the same way, because these interior walls are different type of wall than this exterior wall. So this is not really a solution to create a hedge out of the whole cut. So I will delete this hedge object, and what we will do is we will actually create 2D objects which copy the areas which we want to hedge and create hedges out of them. So also what we want to do is get rid of this gray area. So we don't want to have the cut gray, so I will select it, and in the data properties, instead of projection mode cut faces, we will switch it to cut lines, and this means that the section is without those faces. And now what we will do is we will use the draft tools, so draft wire and draft rectangle, to create basically copy of these. So I will turn on snapping on. I have the snap endpoint turned on. So I will start here, click on this point, this point, this point, this point, this point, this point, and then select close. So I've got this wire created, and you can see the face. Here I will create a rectangle from this point to this point. Now here I again have to create the wires, so I will create this point, this point. So you can see that this is not you know, the fastest of workflows, but as of FreeCAD 1.0, I actually don't know about a better way how to create hedges. So if you know a better workflow, let me know in the comments below. So again, I'll click here, 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 and close. And this one like this, rectangle, and I also want to have hedges here and here, so I will create again rectangle like this, and rectangle like this, and let me create a wire again like this. When you are using commands again and again like this, it's oh, I messed it up, and I could use the edit tool, but I will actually create a new one. So I will start here, 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 and click this point, this point, this point, this point, and close. So these are objects that will be used as the base of hedges. So I will again create a group and name it group hedge base objects, because we will not want to print, we will not want to place these objects on the drawing. And now to create hedges out of these, I will just select the object, fire up the hedge tool. The setting is the last one used, so I will hit OK. And you can see the hedge is created, so I can select this one. Unfortunately, I have to go one by one, and let me select this one, hit OK. Let me select this one, hit OK. Let me select this one. You may already see a little bit of problem that we have, but I will create these outside ones. And this one, this last one. Okay. And so these are the hedges, and you can see a little bit of problem that sometimes they are created this way, sometimes they are created this way. The angle is different. I'm not gonna explain why, because you can watch my tutorial about hatches, but I will just show you how to fix it. So I will select all of those hatches and set the translate option to false. And you can see that all of the hatches are oriented the same way. Actually, in FreeCAD 1.0, you may run into a bug at this point, but in FreeCAD 1.1, the bug is already solved. So now let's make the group for hatches. So I will create a new group and name it hatch, and place all of these into the group. And I will also create hatches on this interior wall, which should be different. So I can select this one, and I will choose the ANSI 37. Oops, I had the wrong object selected. So let me select this one. Okay, so the ANSI 37 is this one. Let's select this object and again create a hatch here, and let's select this object and also create a hatch here, and place these hatches into the hatch object. Okay, hatch group, we name it like this. And you can see that the base object I can now hide, so the faces are not showing. I could leave them on or off, it doesn't matter, but only the hatch group will be placed in the drawing container. So I'll drag and drop it onto the drawing container, and now you can see that the hatches are on the drawing. To my liking, they are a little bit thick, so I will change the hatch in their properties, in their view properties, the line width to, I will switch it to 1, and then redraw the drawing, and now you can see that the hatches are not that thick. So now what we can do is check how this page looks like when it's exported to PDF. So I will right click, select export to PDF, and save it to documents, and name the file tutorial. And now if I go to my documents folder and open the tutorial PDF, you can see that this is how the page looks like. So it's everything that we wanted. The hatches are there, the text are there, the dimensions are there, everything is nice. The last thing that I will show you is you can see here that there's a line between these two walls. How can we fix this? I will go back to the garage drawing 3D view, and there's a nice property of the shape 2D view, which enables me in the data property to fuse arch objects. This will fuse the lines between walls which have the same material. So if I set this to true on the projection, but I have to do that also on the cut. So in the data properties, fuse arch, I will set to true. You can now see that these lines are not here. So this is really nice, but this is dependent on the material of the walls. in my 3D project, I didn't apply material to the walls. So actually here I would want to have the line visible, but not here. So the last thing I will show you is how to apply materials to BIM objects. So first let me toggle the cut view of the section, and to create a new material, first make sure that you have got nothing selected and then fire up this material editor. And when I fire it up, it opens up a task window with creation of a material. So I will name it material exterior wall, and I will just change the color to red so I can clearly see it. Hit OK. So in the tree view you can see that the material is created, and I will create a second material. So when I fire up material editor now, you can see that I've got a list of created materials. So I will create a new one and I will name it material interior walls, and I will change the color to be plain white. Hit OK. So the materials are created. Now I will hide the roof, and also let me hide the section. I will select the exterior wall object, and in the data property you can see the material property. So I will click here, click these three dots, and from the list I will scroll down, or I can use the search option. I will choose the material exterior wall, hit OK, and you can see by seeing the color that the object has changed material. Now I will select this wall, and with control I will select this wall, and I can assign materials. Where is my material property? So here I will select the interior wall property material, and when I look at the top view you can see that now these two walls have the same materials. So in the 2D view they are fused, but these two walls have different materials, so they are not fused. So the line is here, which is really neat option that you have in the shape 2D view. Again, it's this fuse arch option. So this is the end of the tutorial on creating 2D plan drawing out of your 3D model. We have learned how to create page, place a drawing or the plan view on the page, set up line width, create text, create dimensions, and create hatches. You can place any other draft objects on this drawing. So this gives you a great power of what you can achieve with FreeCAD. If you like using FreeCAD, consider supporting the project by donating to it. The link to the donate page is in the description box below. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the next one.